Hi everyone, my name is Michael. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be following KJH Academy, which is by Katie Jane Hughes on Instagram. She does them every single week. And today I thought I would just follow along using the products I have, because I definitely don't have everything she has. With me and my eyelids, I know they get very oily, so I put it away, but I put my Milani primer on and a loose powder underneath that. And I have my brows done with my NYX Precision Brow Pencil. This is the shade Ash Brown. It's not a perfect match, but I can get by with it. And yes, I'm still in my pajamas. I did not feel like getting dressed right now. I'll get dressed eventually, but not right now. So let's just start. So I'm going to start off with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, Sculpting Bronzer Stick. She starts out using this, and she just kind of put it on. Got a mirror down here so I can see where I'm going. Let me see where she put it. I'm going to try to do as many techniques that she's using. Okay, so she put it on her cheekbones here, her forehead here, and like looks like the sides of her nose here. Sorry, the cats are playing and they're not stopping, so I'm just going to keep going. And then she took a brush. She was using the Makeup by Mario new sculpting sticks. I don't have those, so I'm just going to use this and blend it out. I am totally not doing my normal thing here. This is so foreign to me. I do not put bronzer on before foundation, so this is new. I'm going to add a little here so I can connect this, because I'm so fair. It'll just look weird if I just have one stripe and not have it blend down my jaw a little bit and onto my ear. Then she took a concealer and kind of used that as foundation everywhere. She used the NARS matte concealer in a little pot. I don't have that, so I'm going to use the Milani Conceal and Perfect in 115. And I'm just going to kind of dot that around. We'll start with that much and see how it goes. And she does this to kind of have a more natural look. It makes it look like the bronzer is just like one with your skin. I've never tried it, but well, we will see. I love Katie Jane Hughes. She has such great tips, and I've actually implemented some of them in my makeup routine. I like to experiment with techniques, so I kind of switch around things every day, but I have yet to try this one. Oh yeah, that did soften that bronzer, especially on my forehead, since we're blending the edge. Interesting. Why did I not ever try this sooner? It kind of scared me, like I thought it wouldn't work, but guys, it's working. Okay, and then she took a little bit of the concealer. I'm just gonna take some on a brush, and she pops it. I need a closer mirror. I have never once ever been a person to carve out my brows, so this is going to be a little new. But what she did is pop it kind of underneath a little bit. I'm going to wipe off the extra. And blended this out to make the bottom of her brow more sharp and strong. To desperately clean up the bottom part of my brow because I have a lot of stray hairs down there, so we're just going to ignore that for today. And I'm patting this in rather than like swiping it to blend, so it looks softer. She used an eyeliner from Stila, which I don't have. She says it's a plummy brown color, so what I'm going to do is put this one on. It is the eye pencil from Pixi in Rose Glow, and I'm just going to smudge it along the lash line like she does and blend it out. And I'm going to top it with a more purpley color to kind of give that effect, plummy effect. So I'm going to use the Robin D. Christie and Colourpop palette, and I'm going to mix Homegrown and Amanita, those two. So that is both eyes done. I think it's a little more purple than hers, but it's fine. I'm going to put a little more concealer under my eyes because I need some more help there. I'm going to use my big brush to kind of pat it into my cheek a little more. So far so good. And then she took whatever was left on the brush and kind of smudged it on her lower lash line. So next she uses a Stila Magnificent Metals liquid eyeshadow, which again I don't have, but I do have some Super Shocks. I've got these two. This is Berry Sweet and Olympic. One of them is very pink and the other one's kind of a more neutral taupey color. So I'm hoping if I mix them I can create the same rosy gold shade that she was using. I picked up both colors onto my hand and I'm going to spray my brush to make it damp. And I'm gonna mix it, so hopefully it creates more of a, yeah, I think that worked. So she just put that all over. That's the one thing that I really like about following other people's tutorials is you don't always, especially makeup artists, you don't always have the same things they do. So it kind of forces you to use what you have, get creative, see if you can create the same thing by mixing some of your products. And it just goes to show that you don't always have to buy a new thing to achieve the same look. She went back in with some eyeliner. I'm just gonna use the eyeliner this time with no shadow. Grab a clean brush with no purple on it. And I'm gonna kind of smudge that out. She took some of the bronzer stick with an eyeshadow and she put some right here to create a little shadow. Interesting. I would have never done this. I would have just left it at this and called it a day. But that gave it more depth and interest. Wow. It's kind of fun to do a look using someone else's techniques. I know a lot of people, even when I have recreated other Katie Jane Hughes' looks, I have always used my own techniques to achieve a look. But it's really interesting to use someone else's techniques to help you branch out of your comfort zone. You never know, you might find your new favorite thing. So after that, she did mascara. I'm going to use the Maybelline, the Falsies, and I'm just going to put this on and I'll be right back. I definitely think I put a little bit more lower lash mascara on than she did, but that's okay. A tip that I have for making your Super Shocks not dry out as fast is after every time I use them, I put a squirt of setting spray in, and then I immediately close them up and make sure the lids are super tight, and that way you can preserve them longer. Some people have also told me that they use like saline drops, which is also a good idea. I just don't have any, so I use setting spray. Next, she uses a peachy pinky blush from Lisa Eldridge. Again, I don't have any of that. I don't think I have a single thing that she's using, but I do have this blush from Half Caked. It's their candy paint in the shade Disco Lemonade. I thought it was pretty similar. So I'm gonna warm that up on my finger, put it on the back of my hand, and she put it on the highest point of her cheek first, and then she kind of blended it. This formula is so beautiful. It is just sheer enough and it just makes your skin look super healthy and lovely. Then she kind of blended it down into her face and down a little bit into the hollow of her cheekbone. Then I'm going to put a little bit on my forehead. I don't know if she did, but I feel like I need to kind of tie it together, as well as my nose, chin, and maybe just a slight dusting on my jaw. I want a little heavy-handed on my blush, so I'm just going to kind of take the brush that I used to blend out my foundation or concealer, and I'm just going to kind of press over this to soften it. Next, she used a highlighter by Lisa Eldridge. It was a rosy color, and the only rosy creamy highlight that I have is the Colourpop light stick in the shade Earth. So that's what I'm going to use. And she just kind of skims it along the high points, but with a brush. This is beautiful. I always love how Katie Jane Hughes applies highlight. She looks so wet and juicy all day. Skim it all along the eyebrow area and the nose. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my chin, because why not? She looks a little bit more wet, so I'm going to use this half-caked candy paint in the shade Sugar Cookie. This is a very wet looking product. I'm just going to take the brush and just pop it right on the center, super high. Ooh, look at that shiny. Oh. She decided she wanted more sparkle. So again, another product that I don't have, a body odor free pigment, but it looked like a very rosy gold, again glittery. So I'm going to use this shade from the Wild Nothing palette. It's called Spirited, and I'm going to put it just like she did in the middle, and then kind of press around. Ooh, she used a pink lip. I'm going to use Blush Punch by Maybelline. Let's see if this emulates it. I think that's a little too pink. So I'm going to use Tiptoe by Colourpop. See? And that's a little too peachy. So I'm going to mix this pink. These two, Tiptoe by Colourpop and Blush Punch by Maybelline. Here we go. That gave us similar color. And then she used a more taupe brownie lip liner. I don't have that, but what I do have is a brow pencil. I got this e.l.f. brow pencil. It's the big white one. And I am going to line my lips with this. I never do this. I never use a brown liner. So today is full of everything new. I'm kind of use my finger and melt everything together. This does make a really good cool toned lip liner for me. Kind of got messy, so I'm gonna press around my lip. I added a little bit more lip liner, and I'm also gonna add a little more lipstick. So I'm gonna press on Tiptoe. Then we're gonna press on, what's this called? Blush Punch. I keep wanting to say Fruit Punch. My neighbor just started mowing, so sorry if you can hear that buzzing. But we only have one step left, so I'm going to keep on going. She used a bronzer, and it looked like it was a glowy bronzer because she said the whole point of the look was to be super bronzery, glowy, stuff like that. I'm going to use my Revlon Skin Lights bronzer. This is the shade 110 Sunlit Glow. And I'm just going to kind of put it over all those areas where I applied that Physicians Formula bronzer. Here, since I have my hair up, if I don't feel like I just got my makeup professionally done, then I don't know, guys. This looks, I do look so glowy. Wow. Just kidding. She took some of that blush. I'm just going to use my finger to kind of pink them up to match her cheeks just a little bit. She used a pressed powder, but I'm going to use a loose one by e.l.f., the Halo Glow. I'm going to kind of pop it right here around my nose, and on the center of my forehead right here, on my chin, and around my jaw, because it kind of gets to looking greasy if you're glowy down here. I don't know what's the deal, but that's just what I have found with my skin. She went through and went one last highlighter thing, so I'm just going to use whatever was left on the brush and kind of pop it around. I've already layered some highlight, so I don't think I want to add any more, or a different one. This is the finished look. I'll pop up the picture of Katie Jane Hughes' finished look right here so you can compare. I mean, I think I got a real similar look. With the majority being drugstore products, did I use any high-end? Did I? I think I used all drugstore. And it looks so similar, so you don't need to spend a lot of money on luxury products unless you want to. I love a good luxury product. If you can achieve like virtually the same thing but with drugstore, I love it. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and it inspires you to go out of your comfort zone trying looks and techniques and mixing colors that you don't normally do, because you might be surprised with how it all plays out. Thank you for being here and watching the video, and please consider subscribing if you have not yet, and ring the bell so you'll be notified every single time I upload a new video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! And today I would thought, yeah, I think think that's really similar.